people struggle financially is because they're not good salespeople. Maybe they're just not getting, like, I start my sales process out with attitude. Before we even start with the discovery process, the things that we have to talk about, does your attitude look like you truly care about the customer? I know that sounds like such a basic skill, but I've had hundreds of salespeople text my phone and say, man, just learning from you guys how to out-care the competition and bring an authentic level of like good energy to the sales process has changed everything for me. So I want to ask you, the ability to close deals and articulate value is going to be essential for you guys to make your wealth. Promise you. Sam, you got to get out there and prospect, and you got to be able to articulate the value. And when you're selling, what's the number one skill to sales? Belief. Do you believe in you? Do you believe in your product? Do you believe in what you sell? Do you believe that what you're doing makes an impact? Are you bought in on it? Okay? Closing isn't just about selling products. It's about negotiating contracts and business deals. Partnerships. It's about convincing freaking vendors or people that are coming into your company, or as you scale, to get better deals and better terms. It's about leading employees and future leaders in your company, influencing other people. It's about leading your family. Man, my son is like the hardest sales. Well, I take that back. Sometimes he's the hardest sales. Sometimes it's just like I could sell him. He's like, it's easy. It's so funny when you figure out somebody's dominant buying motive. The other day, I was asking my son. He was like, Jacqueline calls me and she says, Evan, I want to go out with the moms. She's on like these mom Facebook groups, and my wife, if you don't know, she was a high level entrepreneur. She made more money than me when I got with her. First time in history I ever dated up, and she was the first asset. I've always had liabilities. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've always been the liability chaser. I don't know why, but I had this. I had her. I got with her, and her whole identity had to shift to a stay-at-home mom. So she had to like change everything. She's never depended on anybody. She lived in Europe for 5 years. She speaks fluent German. Right? So she goes out with all these moms and they share different ways to handle it. And she ends up coaching and training them all because she's really good high-level mindset coach. But she, the other day my son was with me at home and he's like, Dad, can we watch TV? And I'm like, easy, Dad. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's watch. What do you want to watch? A little war movie? You're 2 years old. You want to watch some heads get ripped off? Viking? I'm like, damn, Evan, you can't be doing a Viking movie with my son. But as I'm talking to him, he's like focused on the TV, right? We put Spider-Man on. He doesn't like that. We put this on. And then finally I'm like, man, she wouldn't want me watching. She hates the big kid watching TV. She's like, TV in our house. So then I'm like, why don't we go play basketball? He's like, no. Why don't we go do this? No. Why don't we go do this? No. Why don't we go do this? No. Dad, TV. Wouldn't stop until I brought up the train set. Boom. Immediately his mindset shifted. And I saw something in his eyes where it was like, that was the key. Out of 17 things that I said, the one thing was the key. And then I started painting a picture and telling a story. Man, remember the last time we played with your train set? Remember how much fun we had? I started selling them. Next thing you know, boom, we're off. My problem is solved. Leading your family, leading the people around you. All of it is sales. All of it is influence. Did Dad have a good attitude? Was I like, you're not allowed to watch it. You're not allowed to do this. No, man. I found his dominant motive. I went through a few things, and then I isolated it and started selling that thing that would help us both get to the solution that we needed to go to. Sales is so important. Mastering the skills that gives you control over your income and your financial future all comes down to closing, sales, and persuasion. Okay? You have to learn. So for me, in order to make millions, the way that I had to do it was number one, master sales. Then getting into my skill number two that you need to master, which is leadership and team communication. Business is a team sport. Wake up. If you're a person like me who's like, I was a star player most of my life. Like, I'm an underdog in the sense of I don't come from a family of like millionaires, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always been a sore loser. And I don't mind it. I remember growing up, parents would be like, don't be a sore loser. I'm like, bitch, please. I hope you're a sore loser. Like, you want them to be okay with losing? My daughter throws a little fit. I got to go to the car with her. We got to talk about it. I'm like, good. She's taking losing hard. Some of the people that I coach need to take losing a little bit harder. Get emotional about it. I get so pissed off, man. I would rather lose than win any day. Or I would rather win. I would rather not lose than win any day. Like, I just don't want to be a loser. I don't want to lose. Like, I have an identity that I have to work my way to the top, and I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And sometimes that's about getting crazy. But well, I mean, it's just about being a psycho competitor. And you guys know what it's going to take to get there. Long nights, a lot of commitment, a lot of the balance doesn't exist. Let me explain to you guys. Like, balance, it does not exist. Now, listen, do I have a family? Am I a good father? Yes, it's one of the most important things to me. But let me explain balance to you. You have to have work-life integration. You have to get your family sold on the dream and to be there with you. You can integrate that, but there's going to be a lot of unbalanced stuff. So do you understand that? Are you okay with that? Have you painted the picture? Have you sold your family the dream? And then when you sell the family the dream, are you getting them to buy in along the way? My wife, anytime I say something, I'm like, here's where we're going to be in a year. Here's where we're going to be in 2 years. Here's where we're going to be in 3 months. Babe, I got this crazy idea. God was telling me this back when I was in Denver. He was preaching to me. He was telling me all these things. And she'll say, Evan, everything that you've ever said, we've always been able to do. 100%. She's like, you've never missed out on one of the things that you said this company was going to go to. Why? Because I'm willing to get crazy. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to call my shot. I believe God is talking to me all the time, and these visions are just like, they happen, and then I just back them up. And then over years of just now trusting myself, all of a sudden, I'm leading my team better. So I want you to write this down. Business is a team sport. Your success depends on others, okay? You master sales, then you move to leadership, man. Great leaders, I want you to write this down. They inspire and motivate their team. Nobody wants to be around a dull, boring, negative leader. Nobody. Okay? If I'm around you, I want you to be uplifting. I want you to be hard on me. Yeah, I want a coach. I want somebody to tell me when I'm bullshitting. But I also want somebody that I can come to and say, hey man, I'm having an issue. I'm pretty proud of that. I think my team relies on me in a lot of ways where they can come to me if I'm having an issue or a problem. I can be their shoulder to cry on, but I can also be that's gonna whoop that ass. Like there's two of me, man. That's the same as being a good dad, a good person. You got to be able to inspire and motivate your team. But I want you to write this down. Communicate a clear vision. Most leaders, the reason why people can't get bought in on your vision is just because you're not good at telling them where they fit inside of it, where they're going to be in 6 months, where the company's going. Like, think about yourself as a good boat captain. And by the way, I'm talking to some of you guys as if you run a high-level organization, because you will one day. And some of you guys do. Now, remember, this may not be the exact call that you need right this second, but maybe in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you can go back into this information. Or maybe you're like Michael right now, and you're a single guy running a single company, but maybe you're a month away, 2 months away from your first VA or your first assistant or your second or third or your first content person. You got to learn how to coach them and navigate them and get them bought into your vision. I want you to write this down. Culture. Man, you can't build a culture if you don't have a vision. Can't build a culture if you're not able to articulate your core values. One of the things that I learned the most that hurt my career and myself and my mentality, my character, my reputation early on was the right core values. It wasn't having the right things that I stuck to. I was always the guy. I was very influenced, just like all of you guys, by the people around me. Right? And so I was okay with like cutting corners with certain people. That's why Andy got in trouble. That's why I've done the same things. Worse. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I wasn't a good guy all the time. You know why? Because I saw people that were doing something. I thought it was normal, or even if I didn't think it was normal, I didn't speak up. I didn't have a strong backbone. I didn't have a strong belief. I didn't have a strong belief in myself that if I didn't agree with that and I wanted to go someplace else or start my own thing, that I'd be able to do it. It wasn't until I moved from my first Nissan store 5 years in that I started over. My whole career started over at a new place. And I left this place with a lot of my own ego and pride. This new place, after 6 months of basically losing my life savings and having to I got to this new place and I learned once I rebuilt my life, I learned that I could do anything no matter where I was at, no matter what, that I had the self-confidence in my sales and leadership abilities, that no matter what happened, I have an internal security that I can make it work. Okay? But that's a lot of self-leadership. That's a leadership training, okay? Number 3, master, man. If you want to make millions, who wants to make millions? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want to make millions. Come on. All right, good. All right, give me a hell yeah if you want to make millions. Come on, give me a hell yeah. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard a couple of whispers.
Yeah.
Good. Let's cheers to that. Okay, ready? We're gonna shotgun this Red Bull. These are so horrible. I don't know why I drink them. I'm just addicted. I'm gonna cut it off here soon. That's what everybody who's addicted says. Damn, that's horrible. Told you I'm not perfect. I got some things that are wrong. Energy drinks are one of them. Okay, number 3, public speaking, man. Look, dude, people are more scared. Like, people are less scared of snakes, spiders, freaking whatever, man. Like swimming. Some people can't swim. Dude, listen, I'm telling you right now. More people are scared of public speaking than anything in the entire world. People are less scared of freaking death than they are of public speaking. If you ever want to go back and just go back, people evolve. One of the things that I like to do the most on YouTube is I'll go to the YouTube videos and I'll go to their oldest video. Okay, a good mentor of mine over the last couple of years, Ben Roscoolian. Like, I'll go back to his videos, and you can do it with Andy. You can do it with Andy Frizella. Anybody in the world that has a YouTube channel. If you're like, well, I don't know that my stuff is valuable, and I don't know all this shit, and I don't know what it's gonna sound like. Go back to the people that you look up to the most and watch their videos and see how uncertain they are and watch what they look like, watch how they sound, and then years of speaking and talking and running the pressure will teach you how to operate. They all sucked. And I find a lot of motivation from that. It's like the same as like looking up a bio from somebody who's in your town that went on to be somebody. To me, that's motivating. I'm like, shit, if he could do it, how the hell can I not do it? He just figured out something and he just got away from the pack. He started being the outlier and doing shit differently. That's what I've always done my whole life. Okay, but let's talk about public speaking. Public speaking is one of the most powerful leadership skills that you can have. I, early on, to 3 or 4 people on a team, I remember Andy putting us in front of master closer seminars, Zoom calls that we didn't want to be a part of, and luckily I had a mentor that forced me to get out there and use my voice. I hated it. Now I don't even worry about it. Like, I don't even worry about it. I'm going to speak to 300 or 400 people at the Hustle Summit tomorrow or Saturday. It's like, I don't even know what day it is. Like, I don't even care. Give me the mic. Let me get up there and I'm going to jam out, and I'm not caring what you think of me. I know that I'm going to deliver something that's going to help somebody. And somebody in the crowd, no matter what, is going to have this dumb look on their face like, oh, this guy's stupid. And I'm just going to go even harder. And I'm going to look that person in the eyes like Andy does. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in the crowd with Andy, but he feels like he looks through the back of your soul. Anybody feel that? Anybody ever been to an event and feel like Andy's just looking through your soul? Raymond? It feels like he's looking through your soul, man. Sam, you got to come down here and try it, man. It's nasty. But here's what I'll tell you. Once I started doing it, wasn't there a lot of our guys, I've made or encouraged them to go to Toastmasters. Like, there's one in every one of your, like, go to your freaking local chamber of commerce and get up in front of 20 people and tell them what you think, how the city would get better. Who cares? Just start speaking. You know, if you're in a company right now and you're an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur on here, go get used to talking to people. All great leaders: Steve Jobs, Tony Robbins, Andy Elliott, Ed Milet, anybody that you look up to on the internet, they all mastered the ability to public speak. It boosts confidence. I want you to write that down. If you can get out there and speak, tell your story, and be able to help people change their life, it's going to boost your confidence. What it will also happen? Will it boost your credibility? Yeah. What's my credibility like with you guys? Because I have that confidence. It's huge. My credibility score is huge. You wouldn't be on here if it wasn't. You can have your credit score, which some of us on here have bad credit scores. Like Raymond. Raymond has a horrible credit score. I pulled his credit score last night. Horrible. 420. I think he killed somebody to get it that low. I think he literally murdered somebody and they put that on his credit. Raymond, that's crazy, bro. Never seen that. Murder on your credit? Wild, man. But listen, if you tell somebody that they have bad credit and they're actually a good credit, like Raymond, it kind of pisses them off. You know, they're like, yo, listen, you don't understand, son of a bitch. Yeah, I had to bounce back. 3 times I've lost it all. BKs, and I'm still here, and I got my freaking 710 rolling. Stop it. Listen, by the way, joking with you, no matter where it is, you know you can freaking change it, right? Within 3 6 months. I remember losing it all, went into deep debt, credit score in the shitter, and then a year later, freaking 680, and I was happy about that 680 too. You guys thinking I was gonna say 780? Nah, dog, 680. I was happy. Okay, but think about this. Okay, public speaking helps your influence, and it inspires. Like you can get to inspiring large audience of customers, large audiences of people, large audiences of recruits or things. He needs to get better at these things, and then he needs to get up in front of a panel at SolarCon and go speak, and he can deliver a message at a different company, and he delivers something that moves them. Well, all of a sudden, all those guys want to be on his team. What if he got? Wow, I'm telling you, have a deep fear of public speaking. I bet you anything. And if I bet come off of mute right now, you fail. You keep going. Okay. Number four, financial literacy. Man, you can't master money if you don't understand your financial statements, if you don't start to understand your balance sheets, your income statements, your cash flow reports. I mean, listen, man, I know some of that stuff may sound like foreign language to you. Here's what I'll tell you about just learning the basics of financing and learning the basics. Look, you can go make all the money in the world. Let's say you made 5 million last year. Let's say you made 2 million. Let's say you made 500,000 and you wanted to scale your company to 1 million. Well, would you make more money? Would you make more money if you scaled it to 1 million? Or would you just have that many more problems and you only made an extra 50 grand, 100 grand because you don't understand what's actually going on in your business? I was that guy up until 2 years ago. I found a fractional CFO that took over my finances and started actually teaching me how to understand some of these things. The wealthy manage their money. If you don't track it, you can't improve it. Okay? The wealthy people manage their money. So let me give you just a couple of basic tips. Okay, you have your variable finances and you have your fixed finances. You have your fixed expenses. So imagine this, your fixed expenses. What are those going to be? Your rent, your mortgage, your light bill, the things that happen every single month, no matter what, you couldn't even change them. Those are your fixed expenses. Now, your variable stuff, DoorDash, gas, different things, clothes, different stuff like that. Do you put it on a spreadsheet and you're tracking it, and every month you just look up at it, and you got a little bit better? Maybe you start to look up at it, guys. This is one of the hardest things to do. If you actually pulled up your statements and you started highlighting, like if you got off and you started highlighting the stupid shit you spend money on, and then you started to cut some of it out, you would realize I don't even want to give you guys some of the information on some of the money that I've wasted and spent over the last 2 years with my CFO going through stuff. But like, I'm telling you, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars of wasted money because I didn't even know it. Now that I know it, I've literally made decisions. Last week, I made decisions based off of my reports to save a couple $100 grand this year on just a couple of small decisions. That might be assistance. That might be marketing. That might be different projects that you've taken on that are actually distractions, and they're noise. Like, they're noise. Some of us take on different things and investments and stuff, and it's just noise. And at the end of the day, if it wasn't distracting us, we'd go make a lot more money. I have a finance meeting with my brother's family, my family, and I pull it up on our TV screen, and I go over Ian's finances for last month, my finance, in front of our wives. So we start to compete as a family on like who's saving more money and who's spending money and what it looks like. And then we go over our business, and then we go over our cash flow reports, and we go over what's in the business, what we're making. And then I paint the vision. I don't ever tell people like, hey, listen, you have a problem or you made a mistake. I'm like, hey, listen, here's some lessons that we've learned. Here's where we got to go in the next 3 months. Can we get this down 5 grand a month? Can we get this down 2 grand? Can we set a budget for this, clothes, accessories, these things? Can we set a budget? Cool. Now let's move into how we can, save an extra X amount of money for the next 6 months. But are you having those meetings? And guys, I'm just telling you, you don't have to have like a high level CFO like I have. You don't have to have that. What you could do is just very basic. Me and Jacqueline and I, 3 years ago, there's apps now. She had some app that was a spreadsheet, and we would track our expenses, and every month we would get together and talk about it. If you can't manage money, you're never gonna go make it to the next level. Okay. I understand that, and that was one of the hardest. That's been the biggest growth for me over the last 2 years, and I plan on that being my biggest growth this year. Is really getting good at not only making it but keeping it. There's a whole different. I can make a lot of money, but keeping it is a whole different story. So learn how to keep it. Invest more in yourself. Invest more in yourself. Less into the bullshit that holds you back. Okay. Number 5. Okay, persuasion in print. Write this down. Persuasion in print. You could call it copywriting, whatever. Guys, do you guys all want to learn how to make more money? Yes or no? Okay, yes or no? Some of you guys need to get used to posting. You need to get used to taking what's in your mind and putting it on paper. Go back through our Instagram and go to like the boxes, like not the reels, and go back through like the 6 or 7 posts that we have. Look at them. Well, some of those are more engaged than the reels that we have. Look at what they say. Basically, what happens is we'll be sitting there in the morning. I'll be sitting there. We usually work out, then we get in the hot tub, and then whatever's on our mind, we'll put it in our notes, and we'll start coming up with like whatever it is, like whatever comes to your mind. Those thoughts, those things that you have to get used to taking them and putting them on paper, and then post them on the internet. One of the biggest things that you can do is learn how to be persuasive in advertising, in branding. Now listen, if you're a small business owner, you are the marketing department, you are the branding department, you are the advertising department. If you're a salesperson, are you the advertising department for your brand? Yes, man. So in order to get good at it, you just have to start today. You have to start. Strong written persuasion skills can exponentially increase your wealth. Huge. Okay, I've just gotten good at practicing them over the last couple of years. You can start today. It helps with business proposals and contracts. It will help with advertising and branding. It will help with sales pages, emails, social media marketing. It's so important, and it's a crucial business skill for you to develop. It's so important. So when I say copywriting, I'm talking about, can you get good at persuading people on your beliefs and your ideas on a post? Who cares if somebody doesn't like it? Doesn't matter. It's what you believe, and what you'll start to do is attract more people like you. Dude, who wants more clients like them that you like? That when you look at the phone, you're like, damn, Cherish is calling me. Hell yeah, that's my girl. And you're like, what's up, Cherish? And you just like that person because you've attracted a certain amount of clients. Who wants more recruits in their company that like you want more salespeople selling that are like you? Well, hey, dumbass, listen, you're going to have to post more shit on social media. You know that this thing is like the freest, best thing in the planet? Like, you're distracted right now getting caught in other people's traps. Why don't you start setting some traps? Everybody say set traps. Set traps. Get good at persuasion. Persuasion in print. Number 6, priority management. Okay, time management. Oh my God. This one's tough, man. I already saw a couple of you roll your eyes, okay? Listen, time management. Listen, the truth about time management, we shouldn't even call it that. We should call it what I said first, priority management. You can't really manage the time, but you can manage your priority. Truth is. Okay, so one of the things that I've done recently, and literally I just turned down 2 meetings before we got on this call, where some people in my company were trying to set an appointment before 2 p.m. You can't do it. You can't set an appointment before 2 p.m. Can't do it. You can't get on the schedule before 2 p.m. Sorry, dude. Why? What's before 2 p.m., guys? High income earning activities, sales activities, me dealing with my sales team, me selling stuff. I still sell every day. Like Andy always believes that doesn't matter what division you are in your company, doesn't matter what level you are at the company, you're always going to sell. No matter what, like your rest of your life. So you better just get used to it. So I'll manage and sell, but like I'll manage and do like admin, marketing, different tasks like that towards the back half of the day. The front half of the day when my energy is the highest, that's when I'm on the phones. That's when I'm checking up on people. That's when I'm grabbing salespeople, in my company. I'm helping them close deals. Okay, so manage your priorities. I want you to think about this. Successful people eliminate low value tasks and focus on high impact activities. Now, there's a really good book, which I told Luis, he's not on here, but it's Who Not the How. Yeah, Who Not the How. Now, if you're a small business, it's not going to be how you're going to get to making an additional million. It's going to be who's going to get you there. right? Like Jonan and Enrique, who are sitting right here, they're some of my who's. Like I need more who's around me. Who's gonna help me get my brand out there? It wasn't me. It's not how was Evan gonna do it. I can't post the content, manage the channels. Dude, I don't do any of that. You guys realize I don't do any of that. I show up, I'm like the talent. I show up, do the stuff. These guys find the clips. That's their job. They put it out there. That's how it works. So as you scale, find the things that also don't set you on fire and get other people to do them and delegate, okay? Time is so important for you. Obviously, we know you don't get that back. Time is your most valuable asset. I want you to write that down so you actually understand it. Because some of you guys do run small businesses and you're wasting so much time on stupid shit that you could get other people to do for you, and you could do some research on it, man. Like, listen, I I I had listen, I went through some of my finances as we closed out this last year, and I realized I spent almost $300,000 on admins, assistants, all kinds of shit, like all kinds of people that help me, contractors, all kinds of stuff. And then I went through some of those people, and then I realized I could cut 75% of that, and I could have a couple of virtual people do that. I could find a couple of companies that can handle a couple of these things for a hell of a lot cheaper than I'm doing it right now. And I just added $200,000 to my bottom line, guaranteed for this year. But for the last 2 years, I didn't even know it because I wasn't even like I wasn't looking. I didn't even know what to look for because I really wasn't looking at my business and my numbers like that. I was all about making the money, but I wasn't about what am I bringing in and how do I save it, and then how do I. I was like, we got to scale, we got to hire, we got to hire, we got to hire. Yeah, you got to hire a couple people, but also you got to be careful if you're getting out of control. You got to careful. You got to look at it. You got to say, okay, is the person that I'm hiring have enough value that they're going to make a big dent in the bottom line? Or can I do it? Or can I find somebody that's cheaper that can do it? What do I got to find? And then you got to be smart. Business is business, man. Look, I love it. I treat my company like everybody in my company like family. But at the end of the day, too, we run a business. So think about it for a second. Are there some people right now that are holding you back in your company? Are there some people right now that you feel like you're chained to, golden handcuffed to? Maybe there's some salespeople or top producers that you feel like, man, if I lost this guy, I couldn't make any more money. But they're cancerous. Well, here's how you fix that. Recruiting. Recruiting will fix all that stuff. Recruiting, is that a high priority for you? Get out there and find some more people. Create some new competition in there. Get rid of their asses. I guarantee you'll go up, man. Anytime we've ever lost anybody that was cancerous, that we felt like we had golden handcuffs to, and we made a hard decision, my life changed. Same thing with some of those liability bitches that I had in my life. Sorry, that's bad to say, but you guys know it. I had to make some bad decisions. I had to make some hard decisions. They weren't that, they were kind of hard, but like, listen, and then my life exponentially changed, okay? We got to be real and raw on here, okay? Number 7, okay? This is the biggest thing that holds everybody back. Gosh, this is the foundation of all success. I want you to write that down. The foundation of all success. Promise you. It's the most overlooked and most crucial skill that you're going to have. 100%. And we talk about this a lot in the Elliott group. And we talk a lot about this on the calls. And I've even had people complain. And when they complain, I know that they haven't mastered this skill. And it's funny in coaching. A lot of the time, some of you guys are coaches. And you know that some people want to be coached the way that they want to be coached. And they don't want to run the play that the coach wants to run. It's so crazy. It's like crazy. It's like you see some of these football players, they become successful. They're great team players. They come out of the draft. They have the chip on their shoulder. They'll do whatever it takes to be a part of the team. Then they go make an all-star game, and all of a sudden, they're bad in the locker room. They like get some money underneath them, and they get entitled, and they start acting differently. And then all of a sudden, they work their way out of the league, man. There's so many people. I was watching a YouTube channel, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with baseball, but there's a guy named Tim Lynchcomb or something. He had like the long hair. They called him like the freak. There's all these different guys. Like, I was watching this thing and they're like, where'd this guy go? Where'd this guy go? Where'd this guy go? Well, you know what happened to most of them? Ego, pride, entitlement. They made money and then they became poisonous to the teams. And then nobody wanted to pick them up. Think about some of the guys like Antonio Brown, Terrell Owens. Those guys were freaks. Antonio Brown, 100%. I don't care what you think of him because I know we all hate him. But the truth is he was the best wide receiver that might have been around in the last 10 years. If you look at his real stats, right when he left the Steelers, the best stats between that first 7 or 8 years that anybody ever had. You can think of Fionn, you probably think of some soccer players or some shit that did the same thing. I don't know. I don't know any of them. Or it's football. That's football for you. I don't know, bro. But you know what I'm talking about. Think about some of the salespeople or companies. One of the most important things for us, and I'm going to get into number 7. I know I haven't dropped it yet. You're like, drop the skill, drop the thing. No, not yet. I want to make my point. Ed Milet was talking to Andy the other day, and he said, man, I'm so proud of you guys. And I was listening to the voice note that Andy had, and he said, Evan, or he said, Andy, I wish he was saying Evan. We're not that good of friends yet. I'm not gonna be capping on here. Okay. But he was talking to Andy, and he said, the fact that on your guys' way up, you're getting closer to God, you're chasing better values and better habits, and you're not getting too involved in your own ego. Most people, as they rise, they get or when they get to the top, they get away from God or on their way up, and then it takes something really big to humble them, and then that's when they find God, right? And I didn't even think about it that way, because as our companies started to grow, we've been learning our style, we've been learning what's important to us, and then we've been drawing these hard lines in the sand. And we've lost several people over the last couple of years. Some of you guys know them. They're well-known people. But they stopped to fit the core value of where we wanted to go. And then as we got to know them through multiple seasons of their life, we started to say, man, this person was really good through season 1. But then all of a sudden, a little winter season hit them, and they changed up who they were. Or all of a sudden, they made a little bit of money, and it magnified who they were, which comes down to this skill, mindset mastery. Mindset mastery. Okay, mental barriers will prevent your success, man. It's all you. It ain't anybody else. If you're not making the money that you want to make right now, that's your fault. That's you. Maybe you haven't. And some of you guys may be like, well, I'm capped out at my job. Cool, man. You've been too scared to go bet on something else and go do something bigger. That's your fault. That ain't anybody else's. Okay? I'm just telling you right now, everything is mindset. I want you guys to write this down. Fear, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, procrastination, and negativity. Lack of confidence, frustration, and emotional stability. Those are the mental barriers. Fear, self-doubt. Fear and self-doubt. God, the devil wants you to live in fear and self-doubt, guys. He wants you thinking you're not enough. He wants you thinking all of this shit, dude. He wants you not believing in yourself, second-guessing how you're going to sound, thinking about all of your insecurities and weaknesses. He wants you focused on that. Are you going to stay focused on it, or are you going to say, you know what? Screw you. I'm going for this shit. And every time he starts to creep in, can you say, you got to master that self-mastery. You got to say, nah, man, I know that's bullshit. That ain't me. That's the devil. Whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you name it, some shit. I don't care. But I know that's an evil spirit that's coming to my mind trying to play tricks on me. I don't care. I'm not falling for it. How many times a day is that going to happen? Hundreds. Thousands sometimes. But here's what you do. You get a little tougher. You start to get more, you start to master yourself. You start to realize when you're getting negative, and you're starting to pass that along to your wife or something, and it's your bitch ass fault. Okay? Has nothing to do with her. It has nothing to do with your boss. It ain't got nothing to do with anybody but you. Okay? So write that down. Lack of confidence, frustration, emotional stability. That's your weakness. Celebrate it though. Don't get down on it. Celebrate your weaknesses. Because you found your weakness, and that's the things that you can grow the most. And people that I've coached are like, man, I want to get to the question that I have to ask to close this prospect. I'm like, I've told you that. I've told you that. Okay? I might mention it here and there. You know what you suck at the most? Not doing the shit that you say you're gonna do. Because if you just did that, we wouldn't even have this problem. You would have already tested that word track 500 times and you'd have figured it out. But your mindset's weak. But also your self-confidence and your lack of belief is weak, right? So we talk heavily on mindset. There's not any coaching company in the world that talks about mindset as much as we do. You know why? Because Andy Elliott has the craziest mindset I've ever been around. But he also was once weak. He was also once a coward. He also once didn't believe in himself. Man, I've been there watching the way that he's prepared and changed that stuff. So I fully believe, and you guys, many of you guys have been around us and seen us change it. So I want you to think about, like, where could you go over the next couple of years if you actually master these 7 skills? If you actually mastered these things, would you build stronger financial success? Would you be happier? The answer is hell yeah. Hell yeah. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Yeah. Unless you want a little baby ass life, you know, the harder it gets, like, you should be thanking, you should be like, it's like, you should be like, yes, God, yes. One of my guys the other day, Dakota, he's a really good friend of mine. He has all these people talking shit to him online. He had some guy that's like, I don't even know. The guy, I don't even know. It looks like one of those guys that's like, you know, private profile, like barely any post. He looks like he lives in his mom's basement. Dakota runs a very good wholesale team. This guy's a man of God. He's like fearless. He treats his team better than anybody in the world. His clients at the highest level. And this person has literally, all this guy does is attack Dakota's clients. He finds posts. He writes shitty reviews. Like, he spends his whole day just messing with this guy's business. And Dakota called me and told me about it. And I'm like, good. That's freaking awesome, man. Love that. We've had tons of those people. You know what that's going to do? That's actually making you tougher for the guy that's actually going to be even crazier. It's going to make you even tougher for the next person who wants to stalk you. It's going to make you even tougher. This is great. This is God testing you. Are you going to be a weak-ass bitch about it? Or are you going to go sell your team, a different story? So I told him, I said, go back in there and sell your team this. Tell your team, thank you, we got some haters, guys. We're creating some freaking noise. Look, this guy can go talk all the shit about us in the world. He ain't talking shit down. He's not some super successful guy talking stuff down. He's a guy that's talking stuff up. That means he looks up to us. Man, then we can use this as a moment for us to get better. We can use this as a moment for us. I want everybody 3 posts a day on our culture, our team, the way we believe, the way we think. I want everybody to rally together and use this guy as an enemy. This will be our next enemy. And by the way, enemies, what they do is they make you take planning seriously. They make you emotional. They make you urgent. They make you ready to attack. That's good. You need these people. Guys, we just got a new enemy. Let's celebrate. Everybody stand up. Freaking slap, high five your neighbor and say, we just got a new damn enemy. Yes, yes. And he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we tell people when they're talking shit on the Elliott group. I'll even show some of the posts. Dude, some of them are ridiculous. One of the posts recently was a guy that told Brendan he wished he was in one of those plane crashes that just happened. Can you believe some of the shit that these people tell people? It is wild. Would he ever say that in public? No, never, never, never. So what you do is you don't get emotional. You don't go fight them. You don't go do all that stuff. You kill them with your success. You burn their freaking eyes out with nothing but your hard work. And you go get your team together, or you get together and you double down on your posting. Want to know why? Because people can only last a season or two. They can only last a couple months. Some of them a couple years. But listen, man. We've been able to win over a lot of the haters, and we're just getting started. Give me another 5 years. I guarantee you another 20 or 30% of them will come. Give me another 10 years, about 80% of them. At one point, they're just going to say, man, these guys are consistent as shit, and they just outlast everybody. Holy shit. Now I saw one reel I actually liked, and then I kind of started tuning in. Then I realized they weren't such bad guys. They're kind of douchebags, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just because they're sales guys and they're loud and they got muscles, but I didn't understand that I actually kind of like these guys. They're actually pretty decent. That's how it usually happens. You know, and then they come down here and meet us, or they're coming to expose us, and then they get down there and like, dude, these guys are actually filled with love. Or they get on a call and they're like, oh, I got it. Okay, so are you one of those people? Do you have the perspective of a leader? Leadership, dude, I'm telling you right now, here's how you multiply everything. This is step number 8. We're going to add this in. This is a little bonus. Listen up. Step 8 to building to building wealth and building an elite organization. You have to learn multiplication. The way that you learn multiplication is this. If Andy has Ian and I, what are we? We're leaders, right, guys? Okay, what do we build? We build more leaders, right? What do those leaders build? More leaders. Okay, what do leaders have? Followers, okay? Okay, so think about this. If I'm a leader and I have all these followers that are following me, and then I start building leaders out of those followers, and then those leaders go build a shitload of followers, and then they build leaders up too, what do you have? That's one of the reasons why, like, I've never seen a person be able to do what I told you the most in here Andy paints visions and pictures for his team so damn well. They understand where he's at, but he's hard on them. And by the way, sometimes in meetings, he might be looking at you saying all this crazy shit, and he's hoping you're getting defensive. He's testing you. And then your little baby bitch ass went and got defensive. And he broke you. Okay, after a while, if you get around Andy enough, you'll start to realize that maybe some of this isn't necessarily for you, it's for the guy next to you. But you're so weak that you were thinking it's for you, but honestly, maybe you're actually just not doing the work and you're getting your ego and your little pride hurt. See, over the years, like I would leave some of our meetings and I'd be like, fuck that guy. Like, screw that, bro. And then, but you know what it would do? It would piss me off enough to go get the work done. See, the winners that you're looking for, like me, I'll actually go get pissed off and go do something about it. I don't go pissed off and go, oh, I can't believe that. I can't believe this. And then I go share some bullshit with some other people. Like, screw that. Okay? So what Andy's been able to do is, the biggest key, I think, to Andy Elliott's success is his ability to clone himself. You know what, though? That shit is tiring. That is exhausting. I'd watch how they support people. I'd watch the looks on their faces, awards. I don't like everybody, anything and everything, nothing to me. And I watch energy because I size people up for a living. I know your bitch ass attitude when somebody gets an award. I know your bitch ass attitude when somebody gets an award. I know you're a hater. I can feel it, and I can feel that with customers, people around me. Why? I practice sales, practice leadership. But this guy leaves Andy, man, and he's kind of complaining about some shit. And then apparently, at midnight, he gathers all of his shit up and just leaves in the dark, in the darkness. This was one of our top guys, right? Stole a bunch of shit, did all this crazy stuff, man. Elliott's, they did everything. Bought him a car, all kinds of shit. And then this guy gets on the internet and talks about how bad we are. Oh my God. And I've seen this happen with a handful of people around them. For some reason or another, people around us, they can't keep up. And when they can't keep up, they break and then they go. It's like you guys have seen it in companies. And I'm going to explain something to you guys. This is actually another bonus tip. How anybody comes to you, they will leave you. How anybody comes to you is how they will leave you. So imagine this. If somebody comes to you and they're like, and you're interviewing them and they say the industry that they were just in is filled with a bunch of toxic people, and that's how they're going to be talking about you when they leave you. Just telling you. And then you ask them a couple of questions. How long were you in that industry? Hey, self-assess. Can you tell me some things that you made mistakes on that you can own up to in your last company you left for? If they can't do that, they have a problem. But imagine if you guys are getting in a relationship, you meet a single chick, and you're like, hey, why are you single? You're beautiful. She's like, all men are terrible. All men are this. Whoa. No, where you look for men is terrible. Who you are might be terrible. What you're doing might be a little bad. You have to understand that. Remember, that person, that girl who says that about all men, what will she be saying about you? Because she ain't healed, man. She ain't healed from some shit in her past. That ain't a good person to be with. Okay? It's the same thing with salespeople and everybody. You have to learn to navigate that. And the problem that we've had, and I'm being very vulnerable with you guys because we're not a perfect organization, is Andy believes in, this has been Andy's biggest problem. He believes in more people more than they believe in themselves. He truly believes every single person in the world deserves a second chance. He doesn't care what they did. He doesn't care. He believes that they deserve a second chance, but then the problem is he always believes that they're going to work as hard as him and that they care as much as him because he's a top producer. So he doesn't even understand how bottom producers think. And my job now is to make him understand that and to also protect the company with everything we have. So I want you to think about this for a second. When you go to get around people, think about this quote for the rest of your life. How people come to you is how they will leave you. If they come in and they've thought an entire industry is toxic or people are toxic and all this shit, or managers or the last managers at their last businesses were horrible people, and they have no ability, and then you ask them some questions to see if they'll own up to shit inside of why they left, they are people that you want to run far away from. If you go into their social media before you hire them and you could see that they talk shit about the last couple of jobs that they left, should that be a person that you hire? No. No. Because, by the way, guys, listen, if they were that bad, shouldn't your dumbass have done enough research on the company, like enough deep dive where you probably should have been with them in the first place if they didn't fit all this stuff? But you were with them for a year and they changed. You get how something changed? Maybe it was you. And that was my fault. My first 5 years at this freaking amazing job. And then 5 years in, I got cold. I got a dark heart. You guys ever been there? You ever got a dark heart and you started to hate some of the people around you, but they really weren't that bad? And then you look back and you're like, man, I really love that person. But it was you. So my goal is this. What did I talk about? Mindset mastery. Can you keep up with this mind? Can you stop it from blocking all the blessings that are happening around you? Can you fixate it on the good blessings? Ed Milet calls it your reticular activator system. And I'm sure like it's some scientists came up with this shit, but it's the truth. Think about like a filter on your phone. Like we got all those filters and stuff. Does your filter on your brain, is it looking for the good stuff or is it looking for the bad stuff? Are the people that you're hiring or bringing around you, are they looking for the good stuff or are they looking for the bad stuff? Now, every day you can choose to change it. I can't wake up in the morning and listen to too much crazy shit. I have to listen to worship music because I have to put my mind in a grateful state because I'm already crazy. I don't need to be too crazy. Okay? I like to wake up in the morning and listen to stand-up comedy, get myself laughing a little bit. You know, you guys see I talk a lot of shit. I say a lot of jokes. That's when I'm happiest, right? So you got to figure out, that's mastery. That's mastering yourself. Now, I want to tell you guys about something too. I want to make you guys a little offer. Who wants an offer? Who wants a good deal? Who loves great deals? Raise your hand if you love great deals. Raymond, you don't like great deals, or is your arm broken? Raymond, I'm looking at you. Right, look at that. Okay, good. All right. He's like, yeah, Raymond, that was kind of a fruity little wave there, bro. I don't know what your wrist was doing. Raymond, what was this? Raymond? Okay, all right, that was good. All right, good. Zach's laughing at you, Raymond. I'm telling you. Here's what I'll tell you guys. This is something that nobody knows about. So you guys gotta come in. I gotta say this. I gotta say this quietly. April. What's the date? April. When's our boy coming down here?
25th, 26th.
April 25th and 26th. I want you guys to write this down. Write this down. We talked about mindset mastery and mindset being everything that you need to be the best. Put it in the chat who you think in the world has the craziest mindsets. Put it in the world. Put it in the chat. Who do you guys think? Come on, put some people that you follow. Dalio. Oh, Sam. I like that. Yep, I agree. Yep. Andy, Goggins. You guys are spot on. Somebody must have told you. Did my brother tell you guys, or who told you? Somebody told you guys. Okay, guys, listen. April 25th and 26th, David Goggins is going to be here. This will be the craziest event that we ever put on. 100%. We've been trying to close him for coming down here for 4 years. 4 years. He's been a mentor to Andy for a long time. This is going to be crazy. You're going to get an inside look of the